Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And yes, in case you missed it, I met Cage in person, and he's extremely tall and a very nice guy. But no, the video is not about me meeting Cage and taking this selfie where I look like a small child operating a phone for the first time. This video is about the announcement, that Marvel mystery panel that we were speculating on maybe a week ago. And I was saying, you know, maybe it's a card game, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, blah, 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 blah. I was so wrong, and I'm so happy. This is the most happy I think I've ever been to be so wrong about something. It is a brand new MMORPG called Marvel Future Revolution. This is insane. So the game that we were saying, we were speculating, could be a Marvel Future Fight sequel, could be Marvel Future Fight 2, yada, yada, yada. Well, we got Marvel Future Fight. They've got Marvel Future Revolution. And there do seem to be some similarities between the two games, or maybe not similarities, but I should say there do seem to be some connections between the two games. But, and of course they're both made by Netmarble, which is a biggie, but it does not seem to be in any case, you know, a sequel. So it means nothing negative at all for Marvel Future Fight. If anything, I would imagine that this game would bring more players to Marvel Future Fight, because it started with Marvel Future Fight, and Marvel's relationship with Netmarble started 5 years ago with Marvel Future Fight. So I want to give you guys my reaction, and I want to discuss everything we saw in all the trailers that have been released. Now, I did go to PAX. I did sit in the front row at the panel, so I did get to see everything live. It was really, really hype. It's almost like when you see those trailer announcements and the MCU stuff that they drop at like Comic-Con and you know, all those, you know, bigger events. I kind of felt like it was that moment for me, but as a mobile gamer. And there were a lot of fans behind cheering and like excited too. There's a guy sitting next to me with a Captain America shield, like a legit cosplay. So it was very, very cool. And then of course I got to sit and watch, if you guys watched the live stream, you heard the panel from, you know, all of the Marvel Games producers, writers, and the Netmarble US CEO. So they were amazing. And the host, Ryan Penagos, they were all awesome. And so I want to give you my sort of genuine, unfiltered reaction to this game, because this is 100% genuine how I feel. Nothing was told to me, nothing was indicated or sort of hinted to me ahead of time. I paid to go to Boston. I wasn't paid or anything, nothing like that. No sponsorship to disclose whatsoever. So let's check out what Marvel Future Revolution is. The revolution starts here. Now, you can go to the website, marvelfuturerevolution.com. You can't sign up for a beta or anything like that, but you can subscribe to the newsletter, which I guess is the next best thing. I've already done that. We've got this really cool kind of Doctor Strange-esque merging of worlds, and that's it. That's pretty much all the website has. It doesn't have much, but the good thing is when you click this button, it's going to pop up a page where you can watch the trailer. More importantly, you can go to their YouTube page. Now, of course, they don't have as many subscribers as we do, but that's okay. Maybe I'll be one of their subscribers. Let's give their video a thumbs up here. I think I like this video. Let's check out. They've got all the videos, so let's watch these now and see what is going on. I've got a lot of stuff to cover, and then I've got an Easter egg for you guys at the end that relates to Marvel Future Fight. So this is very exciting. And the thing that excites me as well, for those of you that are like, okay, well, I may or may not play this game, Cynicalex, but like, where's the connection to Marvel Future Fight? There are definitely, I will say this, from what I've seen, and which is all I know, there are definitely some connections between the two games. It's not a sequel. It's its own standalone game, but there are some connections. So if they're made to be connected in a way, then they're sort of made to coexist and stand side by side. And that language, coexisting side by sides, etc., that was used by the developers and the producers at Marvel in the panel. So that, I think, is their ultimate goal, is to have like 4 or 5 really amazing Marvel mobile games that all service a sort of different aspect of the market. For the most part, Marvel Future Fight is more of a single player game. There are some multiplayer co-op features, but it's limited. You jump into the giant boss raid dungeon with your friends, and then you jump out back to your single player experience. The persistent world, so to speak, in Marvel Future Fight is a single player experience. It's closed off. Whereas it seems, and again, from the in-game footage that we've seen and all the wording that we've seen and all the descriptors of the game so far, not that I've played a beta or anything like that, I just see what you guys have seen. Marvel Future Revolution seems like the opposite, where the persistent world is multiplayer. the game is always going to be multiplayer. There's always going to be that aspect of joining in with people, doing things together. You can obviously choose to solo the content if you're strong enough or if you have the opportunity to, but I imagine that most of the endgame content and most of the big fun content is going to require 5, 10, 15, 20, who knows, maybe more players to band together. You're gonna have guilds and stuff like that. All of the traditional sort of paintbrushes that MMORPGs use to paint their games, on top of like crazy customization. So anyways, enough talking. I don't think this game has any negative impact or will have any negative impact on Marvel Future Fight. Like I said, some players might drop Marvel Future Fight and start playing this game because it's new, but then other players will migrate over. They'll start playing this game first and they'll be like, well, what's the original game? I want a bit more of a single player experience. Let's check out Marvel Future Fight. So it'll at the very least it'll be a neutral, but I honestly think this will make Marvel Future Fight bigger in the long term and in the big picture. So let's check out the trailer here. It's so cool. I mean, I've seen it already, but still. So this blew me away. Almost all of the footage, I think all the footage that we see is in-game footage, and you can kind of tell.
There are still times when it feels
there's
like
voice acting.
Crashing down
like this is so sick, and that looks kind of like our cap, you know?
It actually is.
Bro, it kind of, you know, it could almost be the MFF models, but they look just a little bit better, a little bit more polished, a little bit more fluid. Spider-Man, of course, looks different, but he looks sick. We've seen Spider-Man do the swing and the throw, you know, with the car. We've seen it. We're used to it. That's sick. This gives you sort of Infinity War vibes when Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian attack, but this time around we've got Carol coming in, doing some sick moves. She's gonna go Radiant here in a second. Kaboom! This looks amazing. How can this be all in-game footage? This just looks insane. This looks so good. And then Doctor Strange pulls up, and it just blows me away. This is the best part. Yo! This looks so good. Look at that.
Real heroes have each other's backs.
And so this, if this is, you know, this is the essence of the game, is the customization. Look at that. Punk Spider-Man. This gives me big time Spider-Man PS4 vibes, but instead of choosing the model that you play, I mean, you can choose the model you play as, but you will see other people rolling around with their version of Spider-Man. And the customization, as we will see, goes even deeper, which is pretty crazy. I love me some black and red Doctor Strange. So I'm pretty hype about that.
That's when you stand together.
I mean, this looks good. If this is really what the in-game footage is, this looks really good. Obviously, there will be questions of lag. There'll be questions of like server stability and ping, and depending on where you live and what kind of phone you have, of course. That's so sick, though. Come on. Of course, if you've got a lower-end device and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to play at the highest level of the graphics. But if the graphics can actually output like this on phones from the last like year or two, that would be insane. Okay, let's check out the next one here. We've got the villain. So they don't just show, this is good. Like, again, it's all in-game footage. It blows my mind. Look at the detail. This is like Marvel Future Fight uniforms on steroids. That's how it feels like. We got Red Skull, who's of course Captain America's arch nemesis. You've got Baron Mordo, who looks sick. I feel like they did, because they do mocap. They do mocap for Marvel Future Fight. So I feel like they did mocap for this game as well. And so maybe they're borrowing and enhancing some of the technology that they already use for Marvel Future Fight. Because Marvel Future Fight has, like, that looks amazing. That looks way better than our MODOK. We need that MODOK in Marvel Future Fight, but this is so crazy. So MODOK would be Captain Marvel's villain, and then Green Goblin would be Spider-Man's villain. And you see Oscorp in the background, but then he gets infected. Well, something happens, and he turns into Red Goblin. That comic run was amazing. You should definitely read it. But that is crazy. So they're already embracing some of the, you know, more niche villains. Like, a lot of people don't even know who Red Goblin is, and they're like, let's go. We're gonna do the old school and the new school. That's a really good sign, and that probably means, you know, from the get-go, you're gonna have updates with, like, you know, Whiplash and like someone new and someone old, like, you know. So it really does open the door for a lot of stuff. I was really surprised to see that they went with something like that. I thought they would go with something more classic, almost more like, you know, Ultimate Alliance 3, something like Kingpin or yada yada yada. But damn, Red Goblin, they pulled it out. That was sick. But the mocap stuff, The mocap stuff definitely seems like a strong possibility. Because man, like, it would take so long to animate that stuff. This looks crazy. I don't even know. Like, this, honestly, guys, this doesn't seem like a mobile game at all. And I know a lot of people are going to be skeptical, and you have the right to be skeptical, because even when a game slaps on in-game footage, you know, that's always subject to change. There's always the possibility that they could say, listen, guys, you know, we want to release the game. We're 90% of the way there. But honestly, on the other hand, even if they can only do this 90%, hell yeah, I'll take 90% of this. 90% of this is still 99% prettier than any other mobile game out there. Now, the only skeptical thing that I am skeptical of with very pretty looking very pretty looking mobile MMOs is that it's all flash, no substance. Obviously, you know, we haven't seen a demo yet, so it's very hard to really say anything about the game from a substance point of view. There were a few questions asked at the panel by people that walked up, but you know, the people at the panel didn't really have a lot to describe. They didn't want to go into too much detail. It kind of makes sense. You want people to be hype, but you don't want to build unrealistic expectations. They already did make the game sound like larger than life. Like, honestly, the game sounds insane, especially for a mobile game. Like, it's gonna blow up some old phones if all the stuff that they want to do with it, that they said that they want to do with it, actually comes true. But yeah, we don't really have a lot of that substance. So that is the thing. They've definitely nailed the flash, not DC's Flash. They've definitely nailed the flash of the game. Like, the game, that's even like a different costume for Captain America. I just noticed. That one's more like the flag cat, like the U.S. flag Captain America. They've definitely nailed the flash. So from what we've understood, you're gonna have 4 playable characters out of the gate: Captain America, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. That is a pretty small amount of characters. I will say that. For an MMORPG, it's small. But if you think about it from a more traditional point of view, in terms of, you've got tank, you've got marksman, you've got like assassin, and then you've got like a support character. Now it starts to make more sense. So we'll have to wait and see. We don't have any information on the nitty-gritty, on the substance, right? We've seen the garnish, we've seen the ingredients that they want to put into this meal, but we haven't seen, you know, what cuts of meat are you going to use? How are you going to cook it? Where are you getting these vegetables from? Right? We haven't seen the potatoes. We really haven't seen the potatoes of it. So we can't say anything. But these are all questions that I have unanswered that I want to answer, because if they nail this game could be like so insane. It blows my mind. Okay, so we've seen the heroes, we've seen the villains, we've seen all that stuff. Okay, check out the costumes. Now, the costumes I like and I don't like. On the one hand, there seems to be a lot of detail for the individual sort of regions. So you can see here, Doctor Strange has like this Sakaar armor, and it's got a lot of stuff. Like, he's got the armor, the plating on the shoulders. He's got this like fur stuff. You can see here he looks like a gladiator. So this seems like all like it's Sakaar armor. And so we'll have to see. It'll probably be very different. We did see a brief clip with you know, the different characters using that New Stark City armor. So if you compare the two, they're completely different. So that is really good. Then from this point of view, they're just kind of changing colors. So this kind of stuff would probably be good for microtransactions, because it doesn't have an impact on the gameplay. It's not pay to win, and you know, it'll enhance your customization, your uniqueness. But you know, you could still choose between 1 or 2 colors. It's not gonna break your gameplay if you don't. But I am, you know, I'm a little bit cynical that the customization might not be as deep from the beginning. So I definitely want to see that. They did repeat. I will say this. They did repeat one of Captain America's. I noticed. See, they repeat this sort of Hydra armor twice. So they pretty much reused it. I'm pretty sure it's the same armor, isn't it? Yeah, it seems to be the exact same armor. So I guess no, it's not. You know what? It's not quite the same. They changed the armor on the outside seems the same, but the inner layer is actually different. Okay, it's slightly different. So these kinds of things I like more. What I'm trying to say is, rather than just reskinning the entire model, kind of like they did for Captain Marvel, where it's just like, okay, change it to pink, change it to red, change it to blue. I would prefer for them to, like, hers seemed a bit lazy or a bit kind of simplistic. I would much prefer ones that are changed, maybe not in a dramatic way in terms of the colors, but they have some unique aspect to them. And we don't know how deep the customization is, to be fair. So maybe you can customize the helmet differently from the armor, from the legs. Like, if they can go that deep, that would be freaking crazy. But for example, something I really like is for this particular armor for Spider-Man, and I'm being very technical at this point, I'm being very nitpicky. It's got the sort of shell, sort of armor plating look to it on the mask where his mouth is. But if you see on the other ones, he doesn't have that. So it's those kinds of small details that I think are going to either sell players on these microtransactions if they are microtransactions, or they're going to turn players off if it's just like a paint bucket type system where, more like Captain Marvel, you don't really see a lot of visual changes besides the color. But still, any kind of MMORPG needs that level of customization. You need deep visual changes because you've got so many players running around, and especially for this game, if it releases with only 4 characters, you're going to have that problem compounded. So you want them to all look as unique as possible. So we'll see. It'll be interesting if maybe in the future they release some sort of math where they're like, hey, we've got, 7 gear slots and we've got 14 different colors. I don't know why I said 14 like that, but anyways, we've got 14 different colors for each gear slot. So by our math, I'm not going to do the math, but there are, blah, 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 unique customization options multiplied by 4 characters. That would be something really cool to see. And if not, someone can figure that out for me later when they release the game and send me the math. Now, the Easter egg that I told you guys about, I want to hit you guys with the Easter egg, and then I want to show you guys one more video. So this Easter egg, actually, no, I lied. No, yes, there is one more video. I didn't lie. Cool. So, jet lag? No. So originally, I memed on the post that was originally posted on Reddit, and it was the original Marvel Future Fight trailer that was released when the game came out 5 years ago in April 2015. And in that trailer, Nick Fury is asking for help because the dimensions are converging, and we've got like evil Thor coming in, and evil Black Panther, and evil Captain America, and you've got to stop them from destroying the universe as they've destroyed other universes as they've converged on each other. And so the date there at the bottom is February 24th, 2020. And so I was joking, like, okay, we finally made it. It's not Marvel Future Fight anymore. It's Marvel Present Fight or whatever. And I added that little speech bubble there. We need more game modes. What I didn't realize is that they started tweeting Marvel Entertainment, Marvel Games, Danny Koo, Bill Roseman, all these guys, all these heads of Marvel Games and stuff, and Netmarble, they started tweeting about this mystery panel for PAX before we knew it was Marvel Future Revolution. They started tweeting about it on February 24th, and Danny went so far as to almost match the time, 2:10 p.m. It says 2:30 here. That's crazy. So when I realized this, hypothetically, I'm saying that hypothetically, if this is not an accident, I mean, there's basically 3 options. Option 1, this is just a happy accident. Or it's a coincidence if you believe in coincidence. Option 2, they went back because the games, like, they have some connections. They went back and watched this clip and pulled the timestamp and then copied it. Option 3, they've been planning this game, and they've been planning another game with Netmarble for more than 5 years. Or at least 5 years, because 5 years ago, Marvel Future Fight came out, and they released this trailer. How crazy is that if that's true? Damn, that's wild. Anyways, that blew my mind. I wanted to share that with you guys. I didn't see that anywhere else, so I definitely wanted to hit you with that information. The last thing that we don't have here on their page, but we do have on Twitter, it's not as high quality, but Danny Koo posted a whole bunch of videos about Marvel Future Revolution. It's gonna take some time for me to get used to saying that name, that moniker. But okay, we're not gonna do that there. Let's check out this video of the in-game footage. This looks insane. Look at that. Look at that. Got a big booty too. This looks crazy. The sound effects, the animations, the enemies. You've got like really cool environments. Like, look at this boss fight. This is sick. Yellow Jacket looking like a giant boss raid. Somebody said that on Twitter. I totally agree. And now look at this. Is crazy. That looks so good. Like, this looks like Marvel Future Fight on steroids. So I want to watch this again and kind of go through it with you guys, because this basically gives me Marvel Future Fight vibes big time, right? So the camera angle is a bit more down. It's a bit more like behind, whereas Marvel Future Fight is a bit more above, kind of bird's eye view. But watch when Captain Marvel does one of her attacks here. Boom. The camera angle changes, and then watch. Boom. It changes again to the familiar camera angle that we are used to with Marvel Future Fight, which is more overhead. What has been happening over the last 2 years in Marvel Future Fight since the Adam Warlock update in January of 2018? What have they been introducing with new characters? Camera angle skill changes. So they've already, like, this has already been, we're used to it now, right? With Doctor Doom, you press the 5th skill and the camera completely changes and it's a close-up on Doctor Doom and he goes like this, right? Or he does the pistol one and he shoots. Captain Marvel zooms in on her face, she goes up, she goes into space, it's got a different camera angle. There are so many. There's one from down low when Thanos is summoning to rain fire with the 4th skill from Endgame. There are so many camera changes now on skills. We basically got used to it, right? When a marquee character gets a uniform, especially for a movie tie-in, we expect at least one of their skills will have these camera changing angles. And the more you watch this, I've watched this a few times, it makes so much sense. And that's why it feels like Marvel Future Fight to me. On top of the fact they do that like white thing where they outline the character when you can't see them. Yeah, we got that in Marvel Future Fight. Yeah. So that is sick. And then this really does feel like Giant Boss Raid, which is amazing, except it just feels like Giant Boss Raid again, with even better graphics, even more interesting skill, animations, and camera angles like panning back and forth. Bro, this game could be killer. This game could be like my next big game. I could see myself easily diving into this and making this, like, you know, side by side with Marvel Future Fight. I would never stop playing Marvel Future Fight, of course, but man, I was blown away. I know it sounds corny, but I have not seen a mobile game look that good, especially one that's Marvel related. You know, you do see from time to time some really gorgeous looking MMORPGs or RPG games come out, or like JRPGs, but they're just like they're anime, and you know, they have that sort of similar art style, and they don't really, you know, they're just kind of like a flash in the pan. And you're like, okay, a lot of the best games out there don't have the best graphics, so to speak. And so it's really crazy to imagine a game that could have really deep and meaningful gameplay and fun gameplay, with different kinds of multiplayer elements, and look as gorgeous as that looks. Like, that would be nuts. So I'm going to be following this game very, very closely. Just to reiterate what I said at the beginning, I have no doubt in my mind that this game is not going to have any kind of negative impact on Marvel Future Fight. It's just not how it goes. It's not a sequel at all. So that also, you know, lends itself to the idea that these games are all meant to coexist. And if it's going to have a negative impact on one Marvel game, it would have a negative impact on other Marvel games as well. So I really don't see it having any sort of, you know, negativity towards Marvel Future Fight. And there's no way, you know, there's no way that the Marvel Future Fight team did this. It's obviously a different team, because there's no way they could juggle a brand new game plus this. So it really just means that there's like massive expansion, and that Netmarble and Marvel are, you know, even deeper into their partnership, which just means, you know, a bigger and brighter future for Marvel Future Fight as a byproduct of the success. You know, if Big Bro becomes an NBA athlete, sure, you're not going to be in the NBA, but you're going to get all those shoes, you're going to get, you know, all that stuff that he doesn't need or that he has extras of. So I'm ready. Are you guys ready? Maybe there will even be some crossover events between the two games. Imagine that. That will be sick. Anyways, hit me up with your thoughts on Marvel Future Revolution. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.